All right, welcome back to Blue City Reviews. Thanks once again for watching. Gonna shift gears a little bit today to something slightly different and talk about a teen film, a coming of age film from 2016 called Edge of 17. I'm way late to the game on this, but it was just recently recommended to me. I've been on a sprint of nonstop teen films the past 48 hours. I don't know why. There were a bunch on Netflix I hadn't seen, so I just kind of lined them up and watched them one after the other. And I love this genre. I love coming of age films, sincerely. I grew up on stuff like Pretty in Pink and Some Kind of Wonderful. Saw that stuff in the theater, and I haven't outgrown films like that. Probably because I'm a big kid. Still, I'm sure my fiance would agree with me. But I still watch that stuff, and I even love the new ones. Some of them better than the classics. I mean, really, I just saw He's All That, the somewhat sequel to She's All That, which was fantastic. I actually thought it was better than the original. Banana Split was great. The Duff, which is a little bit older, but that one's great. That has not found its audience yet. I love all this stuff. And Unpregnant is one of the better ones I've seen. Just watched that like 2 days ago, man, and that's a great movie about a young lady who recruits another girl to kind of drive her across country because she can't get a legal abortion where she is, and she needs one. And it's kind of a road movie with lots of hijinks. If you haven't seen Unpregnant, seek it out. Much better film than Edge of 17. But I digress. Haley Lou Richardson is the star of that movie, and she was absolutely brilliant in it. So a friend of mine said, hey, if you liked her in that, you have to see Edge of 17. And I thought, why not? It's on Netflix, 94% on Rotten Tomatoes. Haley Steinfeld is the star, who I know from Begin Again. I love her, but she's fantastic in everything. She's been in 100 movies probably at this point. Woody Harrelson is in this. He's barely a supporting role, but he's great in this. I believe a gentleman named Blake Jenner is his name. He's good. If I'm wrong, I apologize to the actor. Haley Lou Richardson, obviously, who I mentioned, and Kyra Sedgwick plays the mother, and I've been in love with her forever. She's great in everything, even stuff like The Low Life I have on DVD. Films nobody's ever heard of, I have those because I just think she's great. But Edge of 17. Wow, the plot is to be quick. I thought this was a huge letdown and kind of aggravating. But the plot is about a young lady, the lead, played by Haley Steinfeld. Fantastic performance. Any problems the film has are not hers. She is kind of an outcast, an outsider, doesn't have much of a social life, never really did, but since the death of her father, she has especially isolated herself. She really only has three people in her life: her best friend, played by Haley Lou Richardson, her older brother, who they're not the best support system for each other, but the relationship is copacetic enough, right? And then her mother, who's played by Kyra Sedgwick, who's bit of a scatterbrained, always was a bit of a scatterbrain, but obviously since the death of her husband, she's lost even more of her marbles, and she's kind of struggling to keep her two children on the right path. And sort of in the corner of the ring, Haley Steinfeld also has kind of an interesting but quiet, suspiciously quiet teacher, played by Woody Harrelson, in a great performance. But I could have used more screen time from him. He probably has like 6 pieces of dialogue in the entire movie, which is part of the charm and the point of the character, right? Is to slowly reveal how good of a friend he is. Spoilers, folks. This is spoilers for this movie. But so she's got, 3 solid people who, whether or not she admits it, she loves them deeply, and a damn good teacher. And when her best friend starts fucking her brother, just straight up fucking her brother one night in the next room, she's already fragile enough, and it kind of sends her over the edge. I mean, she really doesn't have anybody to talk to at that point because her best friend and her brother start hanging out like all the time, right? They're the unit now, and she's on the outside, and she pushes herself even further to the outside just because that's teenage behavior. They're self-destructive to get back at you, right? She tells her best friend, look, if you're not going to stop seeing my brother, we're over because I can't deal with it. And her relationship with her mother even devolves, and she's sort of left with lunches at school with Woody Harrelson. Some hilarious scenes there, the best scenes in the film. There's also a bit of two different subplots going on here. She's pursuing two different guys. Her outlet for all of this angst is sort of these fantasies she's having. A romantic sort of outlet. It's just teenage fantasies. But she's sort of flirting with these two different guys, and it's pretty standard coming-of-age movie stuff. One guy is a geek, a bit of a bookworm. He's kind of socially awkward too, like her. And we can tell that he's the guy that she should really be with, but she's kind of rejecting him simply because nice guys finish last, right? He doesn't necessarily seethe with the sexuality she's looking for. On the other hand, she's got her eye on this juvenile delinquent who has what I guess are all of the standard traits of a handsome guy. He's, I don't know, kind of Robert Pattinson, Twilight-esque, I guess. Nothing against Pattinson there, but that type of look, dark circles and kind of broody and doesn't say a whole lot. And, and oh boy, does she want him. She wants him bad. And that is the overall plot of the film. Will she choose the right guy? Will she come around and forgive the people in her life? Which, first of all, fuck those people, but I'll get to that. One of the big problems in the film, for starters, I was just mentioning the two love interests there. The bookwormy guy, the geek, great actor, but he is just way too good looking, and his character is way too rich for her to reject. I mean, he's ripped. He takes off his shirt. He's built. He's got a pool, a mansion. She comes from a lower middle class household. Do you really think she's going to turn this guy down for some greasy vagabond? I mean, I know the outlaw thing is attractive to teenage girls, some teenage girls, but come the fuck on. No way is she turning down this bookwormy geek who also happens to be an extremely talented filmmaker. And this is supposed to be suspenseful to us? No way. I just think the writing there could have been handled differently, or maybe it was either of the males there could have been cast differently. I don't know, but that doesn't work at all. And the other big problem with the film is we as the audience, well, along with her, but we as the audience on this journey with her are sort of expected to forgive her brother and her best friend, and it's like, no, what they did was really shitty. I mean, love knows no bounds, and of course they should be able to date. They should not be fucking in the next room. That's just straight up rude. They should be trying to make it easy on her. They should have sat down and talked with her more. I mean, they kind of do, but her brother's just being a dick about it. He's like, I'm going to do this and fuck you. And shut the bedroom door, bitch. Like, what? And then at the end, she has to walk up to both of them and give them a hug and say, I'm sorry I was too hard. Fuck those people, man. I mean, the way this movie should have ended is she should have walked down the stairs that morning. If you see the film, you'll know what I'm talking about. She should have walked down the stairs, looked them both in the eye and said, you can go fuck yourselves. I'll see you on the other side. And then gone off to that film festival and nailed the rich, good-looking filmmaker and lived happily ever after. And then they could have made a sequel called Edge of 22 at the tail end of the college years, where she's living in a mansion and he's making movies. They're both highly successful, and her jock asshole brother and her skanky-ass best friend are living in a roach-infested trailer at the edge of some redneck town. Edge of 22. The viewpoint of this film is reprehensible, and I wouldn't want my kid anywhere near it. But that said, it is well made. This director, just because I don't agree with, what they're saying, man, I think that they're probably going to do lots of other wonderful, beautiful films. This just wasn't my cup of tea. Good performances. be damned. So, Edge of 17, 2016, thumbs down for its ridiculous script. All right, cheers. There are simply better coming-of-age films out there.